Hi there, welcome. My name is Macedo. I'm one of the coaches for First Wave Swim Academy. My partner and I, Mickey Murad, started our company a little over 2 years ago. Both of us have an extensive background in USA swimming, club swimming, but something that Mickey primarily had growing up down here in San Diego is an opportunity to do a lot of training outside of the pool, the traditional style of training, and has really done a lot of open water training. That was a little bit newer to me. I've been down here since 2003, so I've learned quite a bit in my 8 years down here. And basically, we've seen a lot of great running and cycling instruction, and there really wasn't a whole lot of swimming instruction down in San Diego. So we're really trying to branch our understanding and expertise in pool swimming with open water, and those are very, very different components. So as you can see here, unlike a classic pool, you have a lot more uncertain water, if you will, where every day can be a little bit different. Today we've got a decent swell, maybe 1 to 3 feet, but getting in and out of the water can be a major tool, or it could be a real liability for people who don't know how to approach the water. And so I'm here today with Bobby Wurzelbacher, who grew up a swimmer as well, and is looking into getting some open water experience. And so we're going to cover some of the real basic fundamentals in entry and exit. All right, so there's a few things that Bobby's going to really try to focus on here. The first being having a line to the water. Okay, a lot of times you're going to have a lot of people in your start in the race, so making sure that you're not finding yourself in the middle of the pack is always a good thing to do before you even approach the actual start itself. Once we do want to make the start, of course, getting to the water safely is important, but quickly as well. So the run is going to be pretty basic all the way up into the water. Even his first few steps won't be a problem at all, as he'll just have the kind of runoff to worry about. Once he gets to a point where the water approaches the knees, you want to think about your technique getting into the water. So as you run, you don't just want to drive your knees up. Of course, having your knees up high is going to be a big part in clearing the water. It's easier to move through air than the resistance of the water. But at the same time, Bobby's going to want to have his ankles swing out to the side. So in addition to getting his knees up high, he's also going to want to bring his legs around compared to the traditional step up and land this way. So what you'll see Bobby do is really work on getting those heels out to clear the water, to make his line and his approach to the water as effortless as possible, not dealing with the resistance of the water itself. Once he gets to a point where the water is up over the knees and he cannot successfully clear the water level with his ankles, he's going to need to then do something called a dolphin dive or porpoising. And what's really important about that is obviously being safe, number one. Okay, because what porpoising entails is entering the water to head first level and also doing it with a number of people around you in that pack as everyone approaches the water. So today when you see him do it later, it'll be a little bit easier because he won't have other people to deal with. But again, in the race itself, you might be surrounded, you might be shoulder to shoulder with many people. So safety first. The first thing you want to do as you go into your dive is make sure your hands are there to protect your face. So as you go into the water, you need to make sure hands are out in front so that if that water is shallow, which obviously we said we're going to be at a depth that is obviously higher than knee depth, he wants to make sure that his hands are there to brace to catch the ground. As he finds his hand position on the ground, he then wants to think about driving his knees up into his chest so that his feet are then on the ground as well. And at that point, he's going to really pop off against the water, not straight up, not straight forward, but kind of at a 45-degree angle. And what that's going to do is it's going to let him use the ground to really come off in a streamlined position, hands first, and come up over the surface of the water. Typically, you'll want to do a series of those motions instead of just one into your swim. Okay? Now the tricky thing is like we said, you don't want to be real shallow because again, the safety concern of hitting your body or your head, which will again work against your fast time. But also there's going to be a point where Bobby decides that it's a little bit too deep to successfully perform that dolphin dive. I typically think that can be for the waist for some of the novice people who are getting used to this motion. And if you have a swimming background or you're good with the dolphin kick itself, you can tend to take that into more of a shoulders depth. But basically what this does is kind of bridge the gap between real shallow water and then the deep water that you're not going to worry about once you start your swim.